Hey everyone, this is Hannah Fletcher. Welcome back to MUSE TV. We are speaking today with an iconic director, in my opinion. We have Traci Hays. Traci, first of all, happy Wednesday. Happy post-Oscar weekend. How was did you do anything fun for the weekend? Did you celebrate the Oscars? What'd you do?
I ended up going to the Women in Film Oscar party on Friday, over the weekend. And it was a very full circle moment. I joined Women in Film when I was in college, so it was very cool.
I love that. Well, congrats on obviously attending that party. I saw a lot of photos about that party in general, and I thought it was really great. I love that so much. I think that's so wonderful. I want to kind of get to learn about you in terms of your origin story. I always love to find out everybody's story because, like, so many people have different types of careers in this business, but nobody's story is ever the same, as we know. What is it that drew you to directing in the first place? How did you find yourself becoming a director?
It's interesting because being an artist is like you said, everyone has their own path, and it was funny because no one in my family was a filmmaker, so it wasn't the idea of directing or making a movie was not something at the top of my mind necessarily growing up.
Mhm.
I'm the oldest of four siblings, so I think there was this kind of, now that I look back, a part of the sort of boot camp training, if you will, of getting to be around, my younger siblings, and we started making movies when I was a kid, and they were in all my movies. So I was writing little short stories and plays, and so I think there was this kind of fun just thing we did for, like, because we were imaginative kids growing up, and we would watch movies we'd go down to the video store and rent VHSs for all those people who remember those days.
I still remember I have a handful in my childhood bedroom, so I get you.
Okay, so it was like a very special thing. Like we didn't watch much film and television growing up. It was like Friday night was movie night, and then the rest of the time it was just like we were just out. I was outside all the time being creative. And so I think the breadcrumbs that led to, like, ultimately me figuring out, like, oh, actually what I want to do is directing, was through a number of circumstances. And I remember watching the behind the scenes back when there wasn't YouTube or availability to watch what making a movie was like, on Lord of the Rings, and was completely nerded. I totally nerded out on that movie, and I was like, oh, that looks like a job I'd really like.
Yeah,
So,
that's incredible. So I love the fact that you found this passion at an early age, and I love the fact that, like, it was a passion obviously that ended up becoming a career, but I love the fact that it was just fun for you. I was very similar. I grew up, I would write scripts and give them to all of my friends. And my friends
yeah,
were like, "We just came over to play." And I was like, I'm playing. Like, I don't know what you mean. This is normal for me. They're like, "We
yeah,
just wanted to play Barbies." So
yeah,
I love hearing other people's stories that are like similar to that, because it's like when you're creative as a kid, you just end up stumbling into it. It just ends up happening to you. And I think that that's glorious.
yeah.
About I am personally I'm have not seen the film yet. I'm going to check it out because I think it looks amazing. Tell us about your latest film that came out right in
Yes.
time for Valentine's Day, My Bloody Galentine. Tell us all about this. How did this come to be? I'm so curious to hear this origin story for you.
Yeah, the title alone, I opened up the script and I was like, oh wow, we're in for a ride. My Bloody Galentine has been a journey. It started last year. I This is quite a funny story, so I feel like it's a fun one to share.
Yeah.
I I had already made a movie with Mara Vista and Tubi the previous year, and I had such a great experience, and it did well. And so I was referred to by other there's so many executive uh, people that work at Mara Vista in development, and so I had a general meeting with Ashley Squares and oh my gosh, Deja Abrams,
Mhm.
about this project that they had been shepherding for over a year in the script and development phase. And they had seen my previous work and thought it really aligned with the sort of tone that they were hoping to go with for this movie. And so we had a great meeting. Didn't think anything of it. You just show up and have a great conversation, and then the next thing I knew, crazy. I was so high, drinking wine, probably a little drunk, but it was my birthday. It was my birthday, so I will just say that. And I got an email with a direct offer to direct the movie, and it was I they had no idea it was my birthday. I was like, yes, this is the best birthday present ever.
Oh,
So I had already read the script prior to, obviously, to the offer, and I thought it was such a beautiful story that ultimately, they weren't putting women against each other. It was a story about how this, young woman who moves to another, at the time, it was moves to different states. And then it ended up in London. But the idea was that she ended up getting to befriend these two women who helped her along in their journey, bonding over getting dumped weeks before Valentine's Day. That's sort of the nutshell of the film. So yeah, it was. I read it. It was initially written for Los Angeles, and then with all the things happening in LA at the time with the strike and all that, we ended up moving it to London. And I was so thrilled when they told me that. London has a special place in my heart. I have family there. I go there every year, so I felt like I know the city really well. And we rewrote it. I shouldn't say we. I did not. I did not write the script. um, but ultimately, we set it in London. And I made the movie last year. So
that's incredible. I love that so much. The trailer had me so hooked when I was watching it. I'm so excited. I'm probably gonna end up watching it tonight, to be honest with you. Like it'll be the Love is
yay.
Blind reunion and then that. Or probably that the Love is Blind reunion. But I love the premise of it. And also what I love about it too is the fact that like, you know, everybody has felt some type of way around Valentine's Day. Like you may have been in love this past Valentine's Day. You may be celebrating it for a year or two and you have your person and you're good to go. But there was a point in time where you were like, this holiday is not it for me. Like everybody's felt that to some degree. So I love films, especially that like surround the whole premise of Valentine's Day and show the different perspectives because it's always relatable. You either have the films where everybody's in love, goo goo gaga, or like somebody got dumped. Let's have some fun. Let's have a little revenge. I love the tone of that.
Definitely revenge. Absolutely.
Definitely. Now, I'm curious to ask you when it comes to directing, what is it that you are looking for in terms of like characteristics, in terms of like cast, crew? What is it that really draws you to want to be on set and to want to step into your director's shoes? How are you most supported when you're directing?
I think when it comes to directing, there is there's not a way to necessarily describe the feeling I feel when I'm on set, other than the first time I ever stepped foot on set directing my movie back in college.
Mhm.
I think there was a moment where I'm like, oh, this feels like so natural and organic, and who I am as a person, and thrive in this otherwise chaotic circus. And I feel grounded. I feel connected. And it's just the place I feel the most happiest to this day. I mean, when I'm physically on set, it's like the moment that I really just lock in and know that we're doing something special with the team.
Mm.
So directing, I think you don't really know what that feeling or if it's right until you actually do it, until you actually, put yourself, maybe direct a short film, or in my case, features now. So I think in terms of like knowing, it came organically to me. And I mean, it's weird because like when I'm not on set, it doesn't feel, life and things are complicated, and we are ultimately telling a story that is ultimately make believe. But there is something about the idea of being in a moment and creative. And to your other question about I guess you mentioned what draws me to projects,
Mhm.
it really comes down to the writing. And I don't write. I look at scripts and I find things that I'm excited about, or I'll have ideas and hire writers. It depends on the project. But in the case of My Bloody Galentine and other films that came before that, it was, are there well written, dynamic, flawed women at the center of this narrative that I want to watch, that I want to get to know, that I'm excited about, that ultimately take us on a journey that isn't within this box, that is a little bit more, genre blending, dynamic, visually interesting to me. And I think those are like the qualities I can really distill, because all my work is so vastly different from very dark drama to, in the case of this film, which is a very hilarious dark comedy, very brightly dripping in pink. Mean Girls meets Jawbreaker and Scream. It's so different than other things I've done, but that's what's so, I guess, as an artist, which is so liberating, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, is not getting stuck in one sandbox where you're only doing one thing.
Definitely. I
So,
think that that is like one of the biggest fears that I've noticed among my friends who are actors, even like content creators and everything. They're always told you're supposed to niche down and get specific. And, you know, when you find
yeah.
something that works, you stick with it. And sometimes, and I interview a lot of content creators, for example, a lot of times it's not necessarily the thing that they thought was going to stick. So my fear is always that they're going
Mm,
to end up like burning out. So I love the fact that in your position, you're able to kind of, you know, step into different projects and different genres. Is there a type of genre in particular that you're like, not that you'll always be like, oh, heck yes to, because obviously, like you said, it's going to depend on the quality, the writing, and so many
absolutely.
other factors. But is there any genre that you are more prone to saying yes to if somebody were to put that script in front of you?
I definitely would say drama is it's funny over comedy, and I say that, but also I'm kind of it's I yeah, all I've done the last 2 years is comedy, so it is kind of ironic, but I've learned, like, I was terrified of comedy, to direct comedy, for a very long time, and I can say now that I'm so glad that I gave myself permission and found this sort of the because ultimately, you know, we as humans, it's not black and white. We're living in a very gray world, and there's, it's funny, and then it's also heartwarming, and so there's, it's sort of like as humans with our emotions. And but
Mhm.
when it comes to like what I grew up watching, what I remember, like the sort of nostalgicness, it was more drama focused with family and um, complicated family themes at the center of them. So
Very neat. Well, I have loved learning about you. I've loved learning about your process and about your journey. It's always just so fascinating to me. And I love interviewing people that are on the other side of the camera as well, because I think that they have such a unique perspective. And I feel like we hear from them, but I would love to always hear from them even more. So it's been a delight getting to learn more about you and about your
yeah.
journey. I would love to give you the opportunity if you have any social media that you would like to plug so our audience can stay up to date with you. And also, without giving anything away, if there's anything that you're looking forward to that you're able to tease for this upcoming year, even in the most vague form possible, have the floor. Go for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. That's always the funny thing about being a filmmaker, because there's all these things you're excited about, but
Right.
it doesn't really feel real until you're standing on set and like we're all there and we're like making the movie. Uh, with that said, I am in pre-production on my next film for Tubi and Mar Vista. It's a thriller, and we're shooting in less than a month. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so that'll come out. We don't have a release date, but it'll come out before the end of the year. I'm very excited. It also draws on the things I'm excited about: family, women, young women at the center of the narrative. So it's very different and in a great way from my Bloody Galentine, but it's very much something I've been looking forward to, and it's been in development for a while. So that's immediate. And then there's other projects that I'm taking out with other producers attached. So we're always I'm always juggling multiple irons in the fire. So, but that is the next thing that's immediately approaching. So,
Oh, I'm so
um,
excited. Well, we'll be able to
yeah.
definitely hopefully speak to that once everything's shot and we can, you know, we'll help you out with the promotion and everything. I'm
Well,
curious
thank
to pick
you.
your brain in terms of that. And then any social
Absolutely.
media or anything like that that you would like to plug for the audience?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I have my own website. So if people are wanting to see what I'm up to, or even want to chat, there's a way to fill out, a little info form on my website, which is it's just my name, tracihays.com, which is not spelled the way you think. Thanks, mom and dad.
I never thought about that. I guess so, yeah.
Never. Yeah, just tracihays.com, and then my Instagram is also my name. I think it's Traci S Hayes on Instagram. But yeah, those are the best ways to stay in touch, and I appreciate the support.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us. Definitely we'll catch up here soon. And again, thank
Hannah.
you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course, Hannah. I'll take it easy.